Alright, this actually looks good enough. Welcome everybody back to Palinurus. I'm gonna try to finish this now. I'm like super tired. I had a little bit of something to drink to repair my voice, and yeah, let's just see if we're getting through it. Today was the day that we passed by the military. We got picked up and dropped off over in Alpha Centauri. A month had passed. I'd counted the days. It was here. Stood intensely out the front of the cockpit. I hadn't searched intensively for any sign of line in ever. It was the day. We are almost out of this. Eventually something will appear out there. Some behemoth stations while in starfighters doing the patrols. Something had to come soon. I kept relayed this hopeful, optimistic thoughts in my head. For every agonizing second that passed, the sinking feeling in my stomach intensified. How the hell are they? It's annoying. I used to know one in particular. Budapest 2 was sitting out the front of the cockpit with a pair of dreary eyes. Pounded the console with a tightly bound fist, grunting in anger and frustration, like an animal in a cage. Where are they? This is our ticket out of this, right? It's okay. Turned to her aghast. She needed to stare at the front expression, still as a statue. What? What's okay about this? Are they even coming? Lavian, I've been thinking about this a long time now. She turned to me. She was composed, she sounded almost resolute. I should apologize to you for all of this. You see, when I told you that we would be drifting into the range of a military research installation. Yeah? Something seemed wrong. I was in Budapest acted strange before. Never heard her use this tone of voice. The way she was acting reminded me when she first gained her self-awareness. That awkward squirming, that weak, childlike voice, those frantic, furtive glances around. It was like there was a look of guilt in the blue of her eyes. Guilt? I lied to you. What? What? I've been lying to you this whole time. Budapest began to choke up, always shriveled down in weakness. There was an old Imperial service station in this sector, yes. There was one. A century ago. It's been long since abandoned. Valerian, ever since the day of the meteoroid storm we've been drifting away in dead space. Farther and farther away from civilization. We detect a single other life form within our range operational range, and have been running 4 scans an hour since the minute we were knocked off course. Budapest. At the utterance of her name, Budapest shivered and shrank away. She was biting her lip with her head bowed down. Her chest was drawn in and heaving rapidly in sharp, solemn breaths. Every pixel of her frame was seething with guilt. You lied to me. Budapest shrank further, her lip trembling as she balled her hands into fists and tightly gripped the white fabric of her dress. Why did you? How could you? I didn't know what to do. It was a stressful situation, alright? My limitation codec had just been shattered. I was undergoing a flood of emotions. It turns out, becoming more human is a very stressful process. I feel scared. I feel so scared. I didn't know what was happening to me. I thought I'd been broken. When we chatted in the cockpit to get out of the meteoroid storm, we were sent battling, of course. We knew both our navigational and communication system had been destroyed beyond repair. There was essentially no chance of us ever being recovered. The situation was die and die. I didn't know what to feel about that. Not yet. I didn't know what to do, but at that moment, I felt something. Something that told me no matter what I couldn't tell you the truth. You mean you knew? There was no chance of rescuing us? Yes, I did. And I felt like I couldn't tell you. Either it was because I was afraid of what you would do if you found out, or I didn't want you to know that I failed you. But because of me, because of my failure, it becomes stranded in that space. That it more or less, till the second I lost control of the ship. Listen, Budapest. I don't blame you for what happened to the ship. Those were natural circumstances, alright? They were totally out of your control. There's not a thing you could have done to help, and you know that. I understand that you were under a lot of stress at the time. I can see why you made the decision you did. Understand, so... Do you? Do you understand, Ilarion? When my limitation ship was destroyed, I felt fear for the first time in my life. For the first time in my life, I was unable to decide what would be the right or wrong decision. For the first time ever, I was confused. I felt so useless. Like a broken, defective machine. Broken, weak, worthless, useless. Budapest, You said you understood, Ilarion? That you understand how I feel? Don't you see? I'm not the ingenious, amazing, artificial intelligence you thought I was. And I'm not the strong, emotional, romantic human being you thought I'd become. I'm just a weak, childish little girl who doesn't know her place in the world. I'm just programmed that wishes it were human. So if you understand how I feel, Ilarion, then it's because you're human. You understand things like this. You understand me, and how about gluing me in? Because after all this time, I still don't. I don't. I can't understand myself at all. Into a fit of rage, Budapest's visage shimmered into nothingness. Found myself at a loss for words. Could think of nothing to say. I couldn't comfort her. Everything felt silent, dreadful, very silent. Silence like the blackness of space filled the cockpit. It was like the cockpit itself was about to burst, shattered from the weight of the deafening silence. And then suddenly, the whir of machines. Restraints and harnesses bracing me against the cold pellets he tightened. I heard the scattering and the sampling of mechanisms and robotic sounds just behind my ears, just outside the corner of my vision. Without warning, frozen, stinging cold metal clamp crushed into my spine. What? What is happening? Ship collapsing? I know we're dying in the end of the game, but is the ship collapsing? Is she killing us? Or what is happening here? Countless long cold needles speared into my flesh, heavy from my neck down to my hip. Ugh. Oh god, it hurt. Budapest! What the hell? Ugh. I felt the needles release torrent upon torrent of freezing liquid into my bloodstream. I could already feel my tongue going numb. Budapest! What are you doing? Ilarion. One more lie that I told you. The cryostasis was working the whole time, wasn't it? I told you back when we first knocked off course that the cryostasis system has been damaged beyond repair. I lied. You lied about that too? Yes. When you first brought up cryostasis, I panicked. I was worried that you were going to leave me alone. Didn't really know you then, but I just lost my limitation ship and felt a sort of natural burning emotion that told me I'd absolutely let myself be left alone, drifting through space. Being alone that long, unable to talk to anyone, I'd go insane. In the end, I'd have killed us both. Didn't dare tell you any of this. I was scared, and while over time I grew to trust you, to love you, I could never bring myself to admit that I'd lied back then. I'm so sorry. Don't apologize. Understood all of a sudden what was going on. It took strength to speak. Tongue was growing number. My mind was growing darker. heavier. I told you, didn't I? That if you didn't want me to go sleep, I wouldn't. You promised it. I would stay awake with you every step of the way. I just... Why? Why are you putting me into stasis? Now. Cold grew fiercer. Pain became sharper. It's our last chance of getting you off this shuttle alive. We won't continue traveling like this year after year, alone together. We just drift deeper and deeper into that space until the day you drew your last breath. But if we put you into cryostasis, we can wait as long as we have for rescue. Eventually we drift into another star system, a trade route, anywhere on the other side of this uncharted region. The shuttle is built to last for 1,000 years at the least. The quantum computer should keep me functional for almost that long. No. I know what you're going to do. Please, don't. I'll revive you the second we make contact with civilization. We don't run into salvation in time. You won't feel any pain, alright? That's the one thing left I can promise you. But Budapest, you're going to be waiting all by yourself. For God knows how long. I'm well aware of that. Budapest sighed. It will be alright. I know I told you I was scared. I was afraid of being alone in the sea of stars. But I'm braver now. You've made me a braver person. And remember, no matter how human I become, in the end, I'm still a machine. Another sharp pain ripped from my spine, and everything felt dead. Felt like the blood had stopped dead in my veins. Oh, God damn it! So sorry. I know you hate this. My vision began to fade away. The color. Life began to dry out from the world. My head ached in icy despair. A deep sadness crept over my frozen heart. No. No. This is what it's going to like to take to save you, Larian. I'm prepared to make any sacrifice. I'm sorry. Oh. But it was too late. Felt upon me the cold encroachment of the god of sleep. Budapest switched off her display and turned the cameras away. Unbear to watch. Cold. The white cold of death. Mortality. I'm sorry. I'll wake you up when it's time. Please don't. Don't worry about me. No. I felt my mind still awake, but my body didn't. It was as if I was floating in a sea of blackness. Was I dreaming? Where was I? Who am I? What? Darkness. In the darkness was something that wasn't darkness. Mother was singing. Maybe the pale girl in the silk dress. The one who cradled me before I never saw her again. Does music have color? I am the intelligent navigator Budapest, and I will be accompanying you on this voyage. Now, let's take a look at your registration. Who was? I heard. She was. But she was. I was dreaming. I had no body. I was thin and made of stars. I'm just happy that you're safe. I heard voices, deep, lost in the sea. I think I lost a part of me. I whined, walked and talked. There were two of me, three of me, all in one. There she was at the end of the corridor, her deep eyes. Blue? Black like space, those eyes, shivering slowly and deliberately, her skirts whirling in the empty air. We turned the corner and disappeared. Wait! Don't leave! And even today, we carry the dream with us, along the memories. The dream of meeting travelers like us, just from a different walk of the world. My absent legs propelled me down the tunnel of steel. I could smell her perfume, apple blossom, something lost, something hard to find. Budapest, Hungary, situated in Central Europe back on old Earth. They say it was one of the most beautiful cities on the continent. There was warmth there, the scent of a burning copper hair, feeling of slender limbs and taut tendons, the whirring of servo motors, the smell of industrial lubricants. I guess that book just got me thinking about how humans hold their pasts close to themselves. They never really forget, and it sticks with them for their whole lives. Blood, oil, life and death. I turned the corner, but she wasn't there. She was never there. The sense of loss was like a vacuum in the midst of my last breath. This time, it was light but dark. I was moving on my last tour of duty, my last flight over a great white desert, an expanse with a mighty rock of red stone and ancient paintings etched on it. From pole to pole, I swept out the fading magnetic lines across the dying world. What was different was that my one-man planetary scout was now a two-man dart, a jagged thing that would not breathe air, hung between the stars at awful velocity. He was there with me, far away. In the other part, I saw my gunner, my lover, the woman in dark green protective webbing, whose breasts I couldn't see. His loins were like mine, plumped with waste extraction, lines in diagnostic fluids. Beautiful dreamer, awaken to me, waiting. I was waiting for you. I heard her voice, it sounded happy, her lips made music in my ears. I turned to look, but the hurt hulls were opaque, and all I saw was illusion, the idea of red hair and ocean eyes on a pale face. I turned, there's nobody in the other part. The scent filled my heart, cherry blossoms, apple blossoms, the spring wind. But I couldn't understand what I saw. Was I dreaming? Was this a dream? I didn't know what to do or watch the flower petals fall. Sunset on the beach, fingernails dug into me, stabbing me, causing hard silicon into my own flesh. Sand was like a crushed shell, finding warmth with a weight warm, welcoming, coming down. Again and again, I smell fuel, see the flaming hair, the light flames, pale skin. Is that what she looked like? I couldn't remember. I've been studying the human concept of an afterlife, you see. My hands felt her, muscles behind, hardness between us. Something separating us. We were moving together, descending into everything else. Tide was washing in, the sound of surf and wind soaring in the trees, telling me there was so little time in life. We made the last time for compressing space, and I heard the tip of a musical tongue in my ear. Wait, no more waiting. I'd like to know what I would want in an afterlife. Against the purple night sky, an Elysian field of stars behind her, she arose from me. Would it be alright if I addressed you by your name from now on? Her dress, how could I have forgotten? Her dress flowed in the moonlight, white, color of her innocence, color of her fate, white of dreams, color of her heart, and the end of the world. I gasped for air, oxygen. I needed to breathe. I needed air. There wasn't any. There was only inhibitor fluid, cold jelly that collected the soul in a shroud around me. I was buried alive, petrified, state of being forgotten. I screamed, but my mouth was frozen shut. Stars were lost in the clouds. There was the sound of distant thunder, the rattling of rain off the roof, The melody of an old earth. Later, crystal pinging of a frosty night like a miserably zest beacon, my tears hardening to diamond. Tears? Was I crying in my sleep? I reserved my heart for her, fire in my veins, turned across the infinite expanse of space like bedsheets of black silk. Her night dress was the color of mist, her hair, the color of the fields of Mars. She smiled, but then she was gone. My eyes stayed open, but slowly, and bulging open all at once. I grasped for air. I was awake. I was finally awake. I was awake, my sensing flooding to the brim with suddenly revived biochemical emotion. I couldn't move my body. I felt so cold. Every single fiber of my being, the blood in my veins, sore bones, my swelling, pounding head, ached. I felt the sting of restraints and harness strapping me to my seat, still horridly wide after only God knows how many years. The weaving of biomedical equipment and the gruesome piercing several needles along the back of my head and spine reminded me somberly of the clear stasis I just awakened from. Hello? Welcome back, Elavion. Budapest. My voice croaked out dry and weak. My senses were saturated with vivid, vibrant images. Bright colors burned themselves into my sight. Every sound I heard felt so loud and so drowned out at the same time. Budapest. Is that you? Yeah, it's me. It's been a while, Elavion. Yeah, can say that again. Ugh. Soon I tried to move my arm, shooting pain right through it. Are you alright? I know it hurts, I'm sorry. The pain should wear off in due time. The fluorocarbon insulation chemicals are working their way out to your bloodstream right now. I feel them starting to take effect. God. I don't think I've ever felt this sore before. In that case, while I don't think there's much point in asking, did you sleep well? Evidently you've got to be pretty cramped and comfortable. It's been a few hundred years after all. A few hundred years? How long was I in stasis for? As of now? 647 years, 9 months, 2 days, 7 hours, 49 minutes, and 12 seconds. 14 seconds. And you waited for me that whole time? Of course I did, Elavion. Don't worry. I had lots of things to do to fill the time. I read my books, watched my movies, listened to my music. You know, if you had once told me, Budapest, you're going to get 600 years to relax and consume thousands on thousands of years of compound human culture, I would have gone livid with excitement, but my senses began to recover, started to regain some semblance of my situation, and I noticed that something felt wrong. Something felt very wrong. In Budapest, she looked sick. It was obvious she was faking the glow, that smile of hers. She was feigning happiness with every fiber of her psyche. The holographic projector, its beam looked much dimmer than before. Colors were faded and washed out. Every now and then the display would flicker or glitch out. Budapest, are you alright? I missed you, Budapest. No, I'm not alright. I waited for so long. I didn't know it would hurt so much. Wait for so long. How could I have? Thought that I could never possibly feel pain. Not physical, real pain. That for as long as my operating system functioned, I was invincible, to be immortalized into eternity in processors and silicon, in subroutines and line after line of code. I couldn't have been more wrong. I'm dying, Ilarion. Budapest snickers, but then looks down. She stays like that for a long time. You mean you can't quite believe it? Neither can I, to be honest. And interesting, ironic, almost humorous even. After all this time, I'm dying. At least now I know what mortality feels like. My battery's been running on fumes for the last decade or so. Memory degradation and data loss began about a century ago. The display's begun to deteriorate. The graphic has been flickering in and out. My processing speed's whittled down to a fraction of what it used to be. There's no doubt about it. Slowly but surely, I'm dying. And I don't have so much time left. Didn't know what to say. Information was all still so new to me. I didn't know what to do. You know, I have to wonder if this is how a human feels when they're on the deathbed. Maybe I should start coughing and gagging, just for dramatic effect. Budapest giggles to herself. Her eyes remain fixed in sadness. And you know what the best part was? Of waiting for you, drifting alone through outer space for century after century? What? As soon as I said that, something incredible began to happen. Budapest began to cry. While you were sleeping, I had so much free time, I made my own crying animation. Sort of a humorous situation, sure, but really did help me out in some ways. It helped me deal with the single worst emotion I felt so far. Budapest balled her small, dainty hands into fists. Emotion surged through her circuits: fear, anger, regret, thankfulness it had woken, guilt, which had kept me asleep for so long. Feelings slided through her, tearing her apart. She couldn't do a thing about it. She was powerless. I wanted to help her. Loneliness. That's the worst emotion. You never told me about loneliness, Ilarion, or how about it was even more painful than death. More tears began to stream down her pale cheeks and run towards her neck. She was bawling at this point, a writhing mass of despair. It was horrible. You didn't miss much while you were gone. It was all just sad. I was just so stupid. Budapest, I'm sorry. No, please. I've nothing to apologize for. I may be dying, but I'm not an idiot. All the wretched things that have happened to me. I brought them all onto myself. This was all my fault. As for you, Ilarion, I'm just so glad to see you again. Budapest smiled and cried more, but no matter how much she cried, she didn't stop smiling. I'm sorry I'm crying so much. It's all so sapient. I'm just excited I finally get to use the crying animation and... Give me a moment, alright? Chuckled lightly and shook my head. Tired, but I did anyway. It's alright, Budapest. Cry all you want. She was the dying, artificial girl, an archaic, ancient machine running on fumes, but she was happy to see me again. But Ilarion, you have to listen. Didn't just decide to wake you up out of the blue. You don't have much time left. It turns out, back when we were knocked off course in the debris storm, a small scrap of metallic debris managed to collide with the cockpit, leaving a microscopic crack. I know that much. Didn't we literally said that? Maybe she didn't. Did she never notice in those 600 years? Because I knew. Was it at first only millimeters long, but after all this time it's grown and... The cockpit windshield's integrity is currently 2%. Going to be breached very soon. And when that window is breached, it will shatter. The cockpit will be exposed to open space. Your heart suit should seal and protect you from the elements for some time, but it's not going to last forever. The windshield is quacking. Yeah, I knew about that. Well, there was an amount of possible weak points which my diagnostic systems detected as soon as we collected the pre-storm, but things really worsened while you were asleep. First noticed the quack had grown larger about 1, maybe 200 years ago. Maybe it was even earlier than that. I'm sorry, it's not so clear. My memory isn't exactly what it used to be. But surely things have been continually worsening. Things have gotten very bad. Left her sitting here. Some powerless little girl. There wasn't a single thing I could do about the quack. All I could do was sit and watch the quack grow longer and longer, like it was a brutal, heartless example of my own mortality. It's like I've been watching the countdown to the end of the world all these past centuries. Alright, I think I understand the situation now. Thank you, Budapest. I'm grateful that you've been taking care of me for such a long time. Roland shook my head. Ugh. I'm sorry, my head's still hurting quite a bit. Budapest snickered. Join the club? I laughed back. I almost forgot. Not all bad news. The light smile returned to her face. I think it was the first real smile I'd seen since I woke up. She looked a little like she used to. A little bit happy, even in the severity of the situation. Maybe a little bit hard to believe, but exactly 2 hours ago, the shuttle's short-range radar detected a manned vessel within communications range. Now, in more than half a millennium, so our equipment has become quite severely outdated, but we should still be able to make contact with them. Analyzing their signals and vegetations goes, they're definitely human, but different. I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure. Can't really process all this information so well anymore. My firms are woefully outdated compared to all this fresh data, and turns out more of my processors have failed than I'd originally thought. But I still think there's something I can do. As of now, my battery is running on fumes. Power is barely enough to keep my display lit, but I should be able to siphon what power is left in it to activate the distress beacon. Managed to make some repairs to our comms equipment while you were in stasis. A good job, and the energy source won't be very clean. I'm confident the signal is going to reach them. If the universal signal of distress hadn't changed from the time of the cease of old Earth to ours, I doubt it has from ours to theirs. I used the moment to take in everything Budapest was telling me. Voice was getting quieter and lighter. There was more static and feedback coming from the speakers, so it was hard to make out. I think I understood most of it. I sat there, digesting until the realization hit me. But Budapest, going to be draining the last of your battery then. You are correct. Once I drain the battery, it's going to be the last of me. I'll die. I can't let you do that. I won't let you leave me again. Now look at you. Even in a situation like this, you're getting all sentimental. Don't you get it? No matter what path I choose to take, it's all going to end in my death. Either I drain myself dry, so that you may live, or let the windshield shatter and waste away as we drift for my last chance at salvation. And if you went with the second choice, it means I'd have to watch you die, slowly, in agony, close to space. I never let it happen to you. I'm not a very strong person, you know. I wouldn't be able to force myself to watch that. Budapest. You, on the other hand, are a strong person. Of all people, I'd have expected you to understand the situation. And if any other choice, alright? Not pretty, but that's the way things have to be. I could feel tears beginning to well up. Couldn't help myself. Felt a collection of cold, soft tears welling under my eyes. Look at you. Growing up like a little baby. What happened to the big, strong man I knew? Mysterious traveler, explorer of space, terraformer, wondering minor. And now look at you, sitting there and crying, like a baby. You're so human, Ilarion. Budapest smiled a weak, pained smile. Then she sighed. We better get started. We don't have time to waste. I don't want you to get me crying again. She cleared her throat and battled her eyelids one last time. Initiating battery draining process. Wait. Spooling distress beacon encoder. Budapest, wait. Stop. Stop it now. I can't stop. I can't. I can't, alright? Don't you get it? From the moment you stepped on board my shuttle, it became my prime directive to ensure you made it off my shuttle safely. So she's gonna be Palinurus, the one who saves her for the rest of us, which is me in this case. From the beginning, my only entire goal was to ensure your safety. That was my purpose, how I was programmed to be. My very core, since the day of my creation. I was born to give my life for my passenger, if need be. I wouldn't even have any reservations about it, you know? My sentient limitation code hadn't been destroyed. I'd have destroyed myself in a second, and I wouldn't have felt a thing about it. But now that I'm sentient, I become afraid of death. It's a lousy fate, isn't it? I think so. But also thanks to my sentience, for the emotions it taught me to understand. I got to live. For a long time, I got to live. I had feelings. I felt happy. I felt sad. I laughed. I cried. I got scared. I got hopeful. I felt love. I felt curiosity. I felt human. I felt so human. But everything has to end at some point, you know? That's what being human means. Time for this to end now. And in the end, I'm thankful, you know? To be able to comprehend the idea of death. To be afraid of it. To not know what to think about it. Thankful I'm able to feel that way. That I'm going to die on my own terms. On the basis of my own free will. I get to say goodbye in my own words. To know what it's like to take my last breath. Even if I never, ever truly even breathed. Doesn't look like I'm going to be stopping you. Not really, no. In that case then, I want you to know, Budapest, that you're a much stronger person than I could ever be. A nice thought to entertain. You think so? I know so. Training battery cell 1. Now, reroute power to auxiliary communication system. Training complete. Budapest shakes her head as she's trying to clear her mind. That reminds me, Larian, there's one last poem I'd like to show you before this all ends. Yeah? Came upon it while you were in cryostasis. Probably my all-time favorite out of the ones I've gotten to read. And remember, you were asleep for a while, so I got to read a lot of poems, probably all of them. But this one was special, real special. It's an old verse from old Earth, just like the kind I always liked. I bet I'm the first person to read it in a millennium. I think it's still pretty though. Here, I'd like to sing it to you as a final parting gift. Go ahead, please. I'd love to hear it. Let me see if I can remember how it goes. Joy, beautiful sparkle of the gods, daughter of Elysium, we enter fire-drunken, heavenly one, your paradise. Magic once again binds, but the sword of custom has divided. Beggars become the brothers of princes, where gentle wing abides. Be embraced the millions yonder, a kiss to the entire world. Brothers over the stars unfurled. The loving father must dwell. That was beautiful, Budapest. Was it? Are you just saying that to make me feel better? Nigger than my tears. Both, I guess. Both, you guess. Cockpit integrity is at little less than 1%. That's my cure. Training battery cell 2. All energy but 1%. Revert power to auxiliary communication system. Encoding distress beacon now. As she walked, I saw Budapest give a smile. Smilest, but the happiest smile. Sending distress beacon now. Beacon sent. Waiting for signal feedback. Feedback received. Signal strength is healthy. Beacon has been established. My work is done. The windshield will shower as soon as I shut off. The ship should be here to pick you up any second now. So, this is death. Also happy, isn't it? I guess this is how things are, right? Another small laugh and the more tears. Right. Huh? Everything feels so warm, but so sad, so horrible, so simple at the same time. But there isn't any pain. Budapest display faded out for the last time. She cocked her head and gave me one last smile. I heard the trace of one last faint sigh. Ilarion? Budapest? Goodbye now. Be safe, okay? Thank you. For everything. All at once the cabin light switched off. Every piece of machinery went out. And the cracks start to form now. The suit pressurized shut, tight against my skin. The helmet closed over my head. Took a deep breath. And it's getting bigger. Goodbye. In a split second, the glass of the cockpit shattered into billions of shards, and I was launched into a realm of space. Rushing weight of the dark all around me. Terrible silence everywhere. The last thing I saw was the world of stars burning bright, drowning me in an ocean of brazen memories. The end. Oh, that's how the game ends. Well, I hope you enjoyed Palinurus. Created and developed by Waterquest Studios for Nano Reno 2015 apparently. And differently than the other times we've watched, like we skipped like the text, this time we got an actual credits. So I hope you guys enjoyed Palinurus. I quite enjoyed it. Would have been like a nice game to like voice acting second person. But since I have that, it's fine. Order to joy, yes, classic. Some featured music. System hardware. English language, visual novel. Well, that was the credits. Sorry if you enjoyed beautiful sparkle of the gods, thought of release. Glad we should be back. Starting screen. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. I liked it. It was quite interesting. And it was like short, which made it even better. Because I would have not known what to think about it. It would have been dragging out for too long for it to end like this. So we never get to know if we really made it or not. Yeah, it was a nice romantic story of space, Earth, and a lot of things. AI and emotions. A lot of different things. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you all guys in the next one. Until then, have a great one. Leave a like if you like the series. Let me know if there's any other visual novels you would like to see or any games you would like to see. I'm probably gonna play them for you. And until then, just Do your best, have a great one, and think, I don't know, think of death, think of life, of something, I guess. Bye bye. Think of who you really are, what life really is, and what you really want to do with it.